Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to everyone. My name is Nur Hidayah Safira and I am final year student for Sport Management at University Technology Mara. First of all, I would like to thank for Sir Faizal as my lecturer on the subject Research Methodology in Behaviour Science and Sport, and Ms. Shazwani Zulaika as my supervisor, and everyone here today for giving me the opportunity to present my final year research project. Today, I will be presenting my research entitled The Impact of Human Resource Management (HRM) Practice on Job Performance in Malaysia Ministry of Young and Sport (KBS). Without further delay, I would like to begin by sharing the background of my study. Human Resource Management or HRM has evolved into a strategy tool, especially in the public sector, with a support employer development and performance success. However, in Malaysia Ministry of Young and Sport or KBS, recent evolution show issue in staff retention, performance tracking and training, despite its key role in young empowerment and national sport development. KBS use traditional HR system that may not fully support a skilled and agile workforce. First study suggests that a strategy HRM can improve job performance, but there are limited research with the KBS. So, this study aimed to examine how HR practice, like requirement and selection, training and development, and performance appraisal, influence job performance among HR staff in KBS. Significance of study: the study aimed to examine how human resource management practice influence job performance among employers in the Ministry of Young and Sport. The findings are expected to benefit multi-stakeholders, including government agency, HR practitioner, policy maker, and academic researcher. This study is important because it depends on understanding of how specific HRM practice, such as requirement and selection, training and development, and performance appraisal, will influence job performance among employers at the Ministry of Young and Sport. It helps us identify which HR strategies are truly effective in driving productivity and engagement in the public sector context. Finding for the research can serve as a valuable reference for HR policies maker. It contributes data-driven insight that can inform better planning and decision-making process, ultimately leading to more efficient HR operation in a public agency like KBS. For KBS especially, this study provides a practical value. It identifies strength and weakness in the ministry current HRM practice, offering recommendations to improve employer productivity and support the ministry broader goal in young development and national sport excellence. There lack of recent empirical study focused on HRM in the Malaysia public sector, especially within ministry that operate across both young and sport domain. By focusing on the period from 2020 and 2025, the study addressed a critical research gap and offer timely insight relevant to ongoing public sector reform. Finally, the study goes beyond theory by offering practical strategies that government HR department can apply. The strategy can help improve staff retention, boost morale, and develop a more capable and motivated workforce, key to achieve long-term national objectives. Although the study offers valuable insight, one major limitation is a focus on a single government ministry, the Ministry of Young and Sport. Will KBS serve as an important case? The result may not be fully generalized to other public sector institutions in Malaysia. This is because different ministries may operate with different HR structure, organizational culture, and expectation, all of which would influence employer performance differently. The second limitation is related to data collected method, which the study relies on self-reported questionnaire. There is a risk of respondent bias. Some participants may give in social discrepant answer, especially when asked about sensitive topics like their own performance on their view on leadership. Others may misinterpret certain questions, even with clear instruction. They could in fact the occurrence and objective of the result. Lastly, the study is constrained by academic deadline, meaning it can only collect data at one point in time. The cross-section design limited our ability to observe how HRM practice impact job performance in the long term. A long-term study will provide a better understanding of how their relationship evolve over time. Definition of term for the HRM practice include requirement and selection, training and development, and performance appraisal. Practice elegant with internal policy to enhance employer ability, motivation, and opportunity, aim to achieve organization goal and effectively and strategically. Job performance, the degree to which employer with organizational expectation and responsibility include both task performance, formal job duty, and contactual performance, extra role behavior, a key indicator of employer effectiveness and organization contribute. Ministry of Young and Sport, established in 1964 to manage young and sport development in Malaysia, originally under Ministry of Information, renamed several times. Current functions include policy implementation, training center, online platform, and stakeholder engagement. Assumption of the study. Like all research, the study is based on certain assumptions that help shape the director and interpretation of the result. Let me walk you through them for the responder answer honestly and accurately. For the first, assumption is that all participants in the study responded truthfully and provided accurate information. Since the data is collected through self-reported questionnaire, we assume the employer answer based on their real experience and perspective without bias or external pressure. The ensuring that this ensuring the credibility of the finding. HRM practice are applied consistent with KBS. We also assume that HRM practice, such as requirement, training, performance, evaluation, and motivation, are implemented consistent across the ministry. The consistent is important for drawing reliable conclusion about how the practice influence employer performance across different departments. So thirdly, the instrument used are valid and reliable. Another key assumption is that the research instruments such as the questionnaire are both valid and reliable. That means they're accurate measure, but they are intended to measure and produce consistent results over time and across respondents. Lastly, we assume that there is a relationship between HRM practice and job performance. This forms the foundation of our study, where we explore how specific HRM elements may contribute to a higher employer productivity and judgment. Now, I will explain the concept behind the study, which focus on how specific human resource management (HRM) practice contribute to improve job performance among employees in the Ministry of Young and Sport. For the human resource management, refer to strategic approach an organization take to effectively manage its people to achieve organization goal. This study focused on 3 key HRM components. For the first, requirement and selection. This is the process of the identify and hire the most suitable candidate for job position. A well-structured requirement and selection system ensures that qualified and capable individuals are placed in the role where they can perform effectively from the start. For the second, training and development. This involves providing employer with opportunity and enhance their skill, knowledge and competency, and then a continual learning boosts employer confidence and equip them to handle job responsibility enhancing with positive influence their performance. In this slide, I will explain how key human resource management practice, namely requirement and selection, training and development, and performance operation, contribute directly to improve job performance within the Ministry of Young and Sport (KBS). Each HR function play a strategic role in shaping employee behavior, motivation, and output. The 3 HRM practice are interrelated and collectively influence employer performance at both individual and organization level. Effective requirement includes the right talent in on board the training, help and develop that talent, and performance operation keep that elegant and motivate. All of these factors are requirement for a high performing workforce, especially in a dynamic ministry like KBS. The study part of the presentation, I will explain the research design that was chosen for the study and justify why it was operate and investigate the relationship between HRM practice and job performance at the Ministry of Young and Sport. This study adopts a quantitative research design which focuses on collecting numerical data and analyze it through statistical method. This approach is ideal for objective testing hypotheses and determine a measurable relationship between the variables, specifically HRM practice as the independent variable and the job performance as the dependent variable. To collect the necessary data, I use a structured questionnaire as the main instrument. The questionnaire was designed to assess various components of HRM practice, such as requirement and selection, training and development, and performance operation, as well as to measure employer job performance based on task and contextual dimension. The survey method was chosen for several reasons because advancing it allows the research to reach a large number of employers with KBS in a relatively short period. And then a cost effectiveness compared to interview or focus group, survey are more economical, especially for study involving large sample. Consistent of response, structured survey provides standardly data, reduce variability caused by different interpretation or open-ending question. The survey method was chosen for several reasons because advancing it allows the research to reach a large number of employers with KBS in a relatively short period. And then a cost effectiveness compared to interview or focus group, survey are more economical, especially for study involving large sample. Consistent of response, structured survey provides standardly data, reduce variability caused by different interpretation or open-ending question. While quantitative over qualitative, quantitative design was selected instead of the qualitative one because it allows of objective testing of relationship between HRM practice and job performance. It supported statistical generalization within the scope of the Ministry of Young and Sport. Quantitative approach are widely accepted in the public sector research, especially when the goal is to inform evidence-based policy decision. The sampling technique, census method, given the small, will define the accessible population. I apply the census method, which means every member of the population was surveyed. By surveying the full population, the data collected is both consistency and relativity of the actual condition at KBS. Pilot study detail conduct with 30 response from Malaysia Ministry of Young and Sport (KBS). Focus on key construct, requirement and selection, training and development, and performance operation. Also the job performance. Reliability result, a measure using Comba Alpha, a standard statistical tool of reliability or construct score above 0.71, which considered acceptable to good according to social science standard. For the conclusion, based on the result, all the HRM practice and job performance items demonstrate strong internal consistency. Therefore, the instruments were deemed relevant and suitable for the full-scale study. For the data analysis software used, data were analyzed using SPSS version 29. And then, this software helped organize, process, and interpret both descriptive and inferential statistics. It was used specifically to examine how HRM practice include job performance with the KPIs. That's all from my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I am happy to answer any question.